Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 108 of the Mo Money Podcast. I am your host, Jessica Morehouse. Thank you so much for joining me for another fabulous episode. I'm excited to introduce my next guest. I recorded this episode a few months ago because I wanted to kind of time it along with an event that she will be holding very soon. I'm talking about Eva Baker. She is the creator, the writer behind TeensGotCents.com, and it's called TeensGotCents because she started getting interested in personal finance at the very young age of 16. She got into Dave Ramsey's stuff and just got hooked, started her own blog, and kind of became, an entrepreneur in her teens and, moving on into her early 20s. So we are going to be talking about her story, how she started the blog, why she's so passionate about educating specifically teens about personal finance, which I think is awesome because, a lot of us don't learn about how to manage our money until we're in our 20s and we've made a bunch of mistakes. So I think it's awesome that she's really trying to educate teens specifically before they can make those money mistakes. And a big thing that she's also doing too is she is the founder of the Teenpreneur Conference. It is a conference that is by teens, for teens, and it's all about entrepreneurship. So really promoting the idea that you can develop something, a product, a service it could be your full-time thing, it could be your side hustle, but there are other avenues to make money, passive income. You don't just have to do, what we're all kind of told to do, which is, go to university, get a degree, get an office job, and stay there until you retire. There's a lot of different things that you can possibly do, and I think that's also awesome because I had no idea entrepreneurship was even a thing when I was a teenager. I thought there was only one path, so it's really cool that she is showing other teens that there are different avenues that you could possibly go to. So if this sounds like something that you are interested in, just go to theteenpreneur.com to find out more information. But it will be taking place June 8th to 10th in Jacksonville, Florida. So if you want to pop on down there and get your tickets, go to theteenpreneur.com. Okay, so before I get to that fabulous interview with Eva, which I'm very excited about, I have something very exciting to share with you as well. Now, you already know what I'm talking about if you're on my email list, like I told you to get on last week. But I announced on Monday that finally the course that I've been, spending so much of my time and effort on, the Rich and Fit Bootcamp, it is complete. I've been working on it with my business partner, Jacqueline Phillips, who is a champion fitness competitor, fitness model, fitness coach extraordinaire, and she is almost a certified yoga instructor. So she really is kind of the whole package. And we teamed up to create a course about fitness and finance because I wanted to learn how to get fit. She wanted to learn how to deal with her finances. We came together to help each other. And now we're here to offer a 7-week intensive course to help anyone else who has struggles with fitness and finance, which I feel like is probably most people. So to kind of kick off the launch of that course, we will be doing a live webinar on May 31st. That is Wednesday, May 31st. Again, I'm going to put some more information in the show notes about that. So just go to jessicamorehouse.com/108. Or if you just want to, that sounds good. I want to find out more about the course and all that kind of stuff and just more in general about fitness and finance, which is what we're going to be talking about in the webinar, how to kind of integrate both of those into your life seamlessly, some tips and tricks that you can integrate in your life right now. Just go to jessicamorehouse.com/webinar and you can register, save your seat. And a big reason you'll want to join us for the webinar is we are going to be awarding 3 lucky live webinar attendees a scholarship to our course. That is right. If you join us, you will have a chance to win a free scholarship to take our course for free. So please join us for our webinar and it will be a ton of fun. Make sure to go to the show notes or jessicamorehouse.com/webinar. All right. So if that is enough talking from me, let's get to that interview. Thank you, Eva, for joining me on the podcast. I'm excited to chat with you.
Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome. So I absolutely love what you're doing with TeensGotCents because, again, I don't know any other personal finance sites that focus specifically, like have a house for all this great information for teens. And I know as an older person, I would have loved to have that information available to me when I was that age because I feel like, just kind of like you mentioned on your About page, you're, aren't really dealing with, at that age, dealing with money too much, but that also means you're not making mistakes. So this is a great time to learn as much as you can to prevent all of those mistakes. Because a lot of people think, I learned from my mistakes. Yes, it's great, but wouldn't it be great to learn before you make them?
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. So I would love to know, you started the blog Teens Got Sense when you were 16. That it doesn't seem like a very common thing to do at that age. I'm sure most people are just focused on, I don't know, school and sports and all that kind of stuff. What motivated you to start a personal finance site when you were 16?
My mother, actually.
Yeah.
So it's a great story. I was homeschooled all the way through high school, which
Oh, yeah.
I loved. And so was my older brother. And if you are a baker,
Mhm.
you are required to complete some kind of meaningful high school project in your junior and senior year. Something that's going to like grow your communication skills and life skills and something just like a substantial school project. And my older brother before me founded a nonprofit with his high school debate partner
Oh,
that had
wow.
something to do about like nuclear energy, and I still don't really understand what it was all about. It was really confusing. But anyways, when mom came to me and said, "Even it's time for you to start thinking about what you want your project to be," I knew that it needed to be something like pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So during the same time, my parents were going through a divorce, and my mom was just trying to get back on her feet financially after everything that had happened. And so she wanted to read The Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, she's in this whole new frugal mindset. So she doesn't want to spend the money to buy the book. So she goes to the library to borrow it. And when she gets there, unfortunately for me, they only had it on CD, like on audio CD.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was forced to listen to it with her in the car, which I was not thrilled about at all. Can I just say? I was why am I being forced to listen to this old dude talk about money? And oh my gosh. But then, very interestingly, I was really, really captivated by what he was talking about. He was talking about how adults can take these steps, that he calls them baby steps, to get themselves out of debt and start saving for their retirement. And I was really fortunate growing up. My parents were very purposeful with my brother and I to educate us on personal finance. I've been doing the envelope system since I was 5. They were very purposeful to involve us in the family budget, and when things would go wrong or they would make a mistake, to be open and honest with us about that, and really, really tried to educate us. But as I'm listening to Dave's book, it's kind of dawning on me for the first time that people have debt. People like graduate college with hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. People have all of this credit card debt. And I just never really realized that before. And I also started realizing that the experience I had growing up, where money was something that was very open and we talked about a lot in my family, was not the norm. That most people and most kids get dropped off at college and had no basic understanding of how to budget for groceries every week. And so that really just kind of all hit me pretty hard. And I was like, you know what? Like, I don't ever want to have to grow up and read this book and follow these steps. I don't ever want to have to do that. So I got online and I started just doing some research. And of course, I came across so many other great resources like Dave Ramsey for adults to help them learn how to budget, help them get out of debt, help them save for their retirement, help them, do whatever. But there was really very little out there in the way of education for teens on how not to get there in the first place. And there was specifically nothing for teens by another teen. And so I kind of had this beautiful little light bulb moment where I decided what I wanted my high school project to be, and started the blog in 2013. And now here I am.
Wow. I absolutely love that your family was so open about money, because I feel like I'm hopeful that like kind of, future generations will kind of do that, because I mean, my parents, and I know lots of parents, they were taught by their parents to never talk about money. It's rude. It's, ugly. You shouldn't do that. That's the wrong thing to do until maybe your kids are adults. And honestly, that's the only time I really started talking to my parents about money specifically, like numbers or what to do, was when I was, an adult. And it's like, man, I really wish, I knew kind of the basics, and I saw their example that they led, which was great, was living frugal. Don't be, done with your money. Like, don't overspend. And we did talk a little bit about debt, and just that they didn't really, they tried to kind of live, I think, on a cash diet. But there's so many things I didn't know. And man, did I wish I knew that when I was in high school, when I actually was, I started working at 15. So I actually did start making money, and I didn't really know what to do with it. Like I kind of just like stockpiled it and didn't touch it. But man, I wish I invested some of that, So I think what you're doing is amazing. I love it so much. And you've been doing it for so many years. So now you're not a teen anymore, but you're still, on this mission. I love that it started as kind of a student project. Now it's kind of grown into this huge, awesome resource that, is several years old. And now, so you're no longer a teen. And I asked you before I hit the record button what you're doing currently now, whether you're in college or, what your future plans are. And it seems like you're doing some amazing things. So I'll let you kind of, what are you up to these days?
So right now with TeensGotCents, it did just over the years. I mean, I never expected to still be doing this. I mean, I thought that it was just literally going to be for school, and then I was going to be done and kind of do the traditional college thing and all of that. But over the years, it just kept growing and growing, and I was just so blessed and I love what I do. That I've been able to kind of make it my full-time job, which has been a lot of fun. And so for TeensGotCents, now that it's grown, I have a team of writers that I manage that write for the site. I get to travel around and speak at different conferences and events, which is a lot of fun. I get to work as a brand ambassador for several organizations and a consultant. And so there's a lot of different things going on that I love them all. It's so much fun. And as far as school goes, definitely kind of in and out with college. I would really love to finish up and get my AA, but I've been able to take some time off to fully devote to my business, which has also been wonderful. And I've been really glad that I've been able to do that.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, man, you've really, I know it's kind of started as a student project, but wow, has this really... I mean, you've kind of achieved something that I think most people would only be able to dream about, which is just that, start your own business very young and make it so it's like you can work from home and you can kind of do what you love. I mean, that's just what I've just started doing, and I'm, 30. So, you've kind of bypassed, I think, a lot of steps to kind of get to where you want to go. I mean, I don't know where you eventually want to go, but you've definitely set yourself up in a really great situation. And just like you're very... it's a very interesting story, and just proof that you do not have to go the traditional route to get to a place that will make you happy and for you to do what you love. I love that. You're clearly very smart, very well spoken. You know exactly what's going on. It's like, I don't even know if you need, I'm not saying don't go to college, but it's like, I don't know if you really need to continue all the successful things that you've already achieved, and then to just kind of progress in your career. I think it's absolutely amazing. And I know you briefly mentioned also before I hit the record button that you besides doing all of the things you're doing, you're also starting a conference so is it personal finance for teens as well?
No, actually, my conference, it's called the Teenpreneur Conference, and it is all focused around teen entrepreneurs. So teens who have a business and want to learn more about how to grow that, or teens who, if you don't have a business, but you're just generally interested in entrepreneurship, can come to this conference. I have speakers who talk about, just all the ins and outs of business management. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. No matter what kind of business you're running, there's a lot of things that you've got to learn and got to know how to do. So it's a place where they can come and get practical tips and advice on how to make that happen for themselves. But then it's also a place, I've really started this conference because I really started to realize that there are a lot of teens running some really incredible businesses all around the country and all around the world, really. But there was nothing that was there was nothing that was connecting any of us. We were all just kind of out there doing our own thing, thinking we're the only teen running a business. No one really understood why or what we were doing. There was nothing that was bringing us together. And that's really the main reason I started this conference, because, I mean, as you know, you're a part of the FinCon community. It's an amazing conference with an amazing group of people that work together and support one another. And it's just so encouraging. And I wanted that. I wanted that for teen entrepreneurs. I wanted us to be able to have a place where we could build a community like that and be there for each other and be a team.
That's amazing. So has it already happened, or how often does it happen? Just in case, someone wants to look into this.
Yeah, so it's once a year. We had the first conference last June. We had just over 100 attendees, so it was amazing. I thought it was just so successful. It was so much fun, and we are actually having it again this year in June. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, so that's where the conference is held. And I am, really pretty busy getting ready, trying to plan for this year, trying to make it. I'm really, really proud of the event that we threw last year. But it's been a lot of fun this year making it better. And so I'm so excited. It was just great. And really my whole other vision for the conference was I didn't want this to be the kind of event where a bunch of old guys in suits were going to come lecture at teens on how to run. That's not what I wanted. I wanted this to be peer-on-peer learning. So the majority of my speakers are teens that have run successful businesses themselves. And then the others were younger millennials. So it really, the attendees could really relate to the speakers and vice versa, because they're all kind of in the same age group, kind of going through the same things, all of that. And so that's one thing that I was really, really happy about, that we were able to do and kind of offer a little bit of a different experience there. With that peer-on-peer learning.
Absolutely. That's very unique. I don't know anything like that. I would be so curious to know, what are some of the types of businesses that some of these teens are doing?
Okay, so I got connected with one young man, and he wasn't actually able to end up come to the conference. But I think it's up in New York somewhere, and he got into tapping trees for maple syrup.
Oh.
When 12, with something that I guess he did with his dad or something like that. And he is 18 or 19 now, has dropped out of college, and is the CEO of his own maple syrup company and sells his maple syrup in like 500 grocery stores.
No way.
Like how cool is that?
That is so crazy. Wow.
Yeah. So that's so unique. And I love that. And then we had one of my speakers who came to the conference and taught a couple of classes. She has a website and a whole line of like bath and beauty products, bath and body work kind of like soaps and lotions and all of those kind of nice things. That's all natural and organic and stuff like that. She came to the conference and spoke because she does a lot of other things in her community and all of that. She's an incredible young woman who's running a really, really awesome business.
Yeah. Wow.
It's been, and really one of the really cool things one of the ways I've been able to measure the success of the conference was seeing the teens who came in who didn't have a business. Since the conference, watching them take the tools and the things that they learned there and creating a business and kind of watching that grow over the past year has been really cool. There was one young man who came who was had a little business of like mowing some lawns in his neighborhood and stuff like that. But he was kind of, he was serious about it and he was like making decent money doing that. But since the conference, and what he learned, he's like started like doing pressure washing now and like all of this other stuff, and is really like kicked it up several notches from the things that he was able to learn. So that's been really cool to see.
Wow. Well, I'm so curious, and since you are, of a younger generation, what do you think inspires these teens who are, busy with, growing up, figuring out who they are and going to school and all that stuff to start their own business? Like, what is kind of maybe a common theme that you see amongst lots of them that kind of ties them all together?
Well, I really think that one of the main things, and this is something that, I've experienced myself, is that getting a job as a teen
Mm-hmm.
really, really hard.
It sucks. The jobs out there aren't fun.
2 summers ago, before TeensGotCents really started becoming successful, I was in the position that I needed to get a part-time job. And, I mean, I had been on TeensGotCents. One of the things I talk about a lot is how to prepare yourself to get a job. And I've interviewed several hiring managers from different companies, Chick-fil-A, REI, a couple of other places like that, on what they're looking for in a teen employee, and what you need to wear and what you need to say and how you need to fill out an application properly and all of these things. And so I was like, okay, I've got to start looking for a job. And I was feeling pretty confident in myself because I felt like I knew all of the things that I needed to do. And it still took me almost 2.5 months, 3 months I applied literally everywhere within a 5-mile radius from my house, and couldn't even get an interview.
Wow.
Insane. It was insane. And finally, I finally did land a job at Panera, which was great. But it just really showed me that you can know all of the things. You can know how to dress. You can know how to act. You can know exactly what to say. But it's still really, really hard to get a job. And so I see a lot of teens turning to entrepreneurship, turning to starting their own business as a way just to make some extra money and have some income, which I think is important for a teen to be earning a living.
Absolutely.
I think like Sandra, the girl that makes the soaps and lotions and stuff like that. She started this business when she was 9 because she loved chapstick, and every day before her dad would leave for work, she would say, "Dad, will you please buy me some more chapstick?" And he would always tell her, "No, you have so much chapstick, you don't need any more." So she decided she was just going to have to start making her own.
Wow.
And so she just had to make her own chapstick, and then I guess decided to start, I think she told me that in the beginning when she was young, she would take it to her church and sell her chapstick for $1 to all of her friends and stuff like that. And that's how her business started.
Wow.
And so that's just kind of something that just naturally progressed from her life, not she was 9, she's sat down, I'm going to start a business and, all of that. It's just happened. And now here she is, so successful. And I kind of feel like that's what happens to a lot of teens, especially if they start when they're younger. I feel like that's what happened with TeensGotCents for me. I didn't sit down at the very beginning saying oh, I'm going to turn this into my business, and I didn't have a business model all written out and everything like that. I was just given opportunities. It just grew, and I'm really thankful for that,
Yeah. And it seems like just because of the internet and where we are right now, it is so easy, not easy necessarily to figure out what kind of product you want to make or service you want to offer or anything like that. But once you have that figured out, it's a lot easier to find your audience. Whereas, back when I think I was a teenager, the internet was around, but it wasn't as easy to kind of start your own e-commerce website. So that's kind of a cool thing too. Once you have that idea and you're like, I think I'm going to try this out, there's not as many roadblocks as there once were, which is kind of exciting. So I honestly think that's a big, big reason why there's so many more people that are either doing, a side hustle on top of their full-time job, or they're making that leap into full-on entrepreneurship and starting their own business, which I think is amazing.
Definitely. I totally agree.
Absolutely. Well, that is so, so cool. I want to kind of shift gears a little bit since we're near the end of the episode. I would love, since you have so much information specifically about teens and what they're thinking and what they know and what they need to know, what would be some of your kind of top pieces of advice for teens or for, people college age that they absolutely need to know about money management?
I think one of the most important things for teens to know is that even if you are working a part-time job or you're running your own business or whatever, or even if you don't have a job at all and you don't have a lot of income coming in, it's still really important to save, which can be hard as a teen because you might not have a lot of money. And so you kind of feel like, oh, I'm going to save like $5, $3 a week for a car or for college. Like that seems absolutely ridiculous, which I totally get. But I think it is important for teens to realize that even just saving a small amount or just saving what you can, like it will add up eventually. And so definitely don't be discouraged. If you don't have a large amount of money to save, definitely put some of it aside, for whatever, for college, car, or anything else you want to save up for. Don't let a small income discourage you from doing that. I think the other thing is that it's just being purposeful, and just taking the time to think about these things. And I also think a lot of adults look at teens and think like, oh, they don't care about money. They don't care about that part of their lives. They don't want to learn about any of that. And in my experience and the interaction with teens that I've had, that's really not true. Teens are very interested in learning about how to manage their money well and how to save up for the things that they want and how to earn extra money and all of those things. It's just no one's stepping up to educate them on that.
Absolutely.
And so they don't really know the kind of even the right questions to ask about it. But once someone steps in there and starts that conversation with them, they're very eager to learn more, and they ask all of the questions and all of that. And so I think it's really important for parents to have those conversations with their teens, and I think it's important for teens to realize that it's okay for them to ask those questions, and it's good for them to be interested in that, and it's not like uncool or anything like that. And just to have that in your mind. Yep. And to be purposeful with your money and not just kind of thrown around doing whatever you want, but like come up with some kind of plan, come up with some kind of budgeting system that works for you and stick to that, even if you are still really young.
Absolutely. And luckily now there are, more resources out there. It's a lot easier for them if, they can't maybe get the answers that they're looking for through their parents or their teachers or whatever. There are awesome websites like TeensGotCents. There's your little promo that they can find pretty much everything that they want to know, which I think is amazing. I really wish your website was around when I was in high school, but I'm very excited to share it with all the teens that I know, because I know a lot of them are going to get a lot out of it.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. Well, thank you, Eva, for joining me on the show. It was absolutely a treat chatting with you and picking your brain. I'm very excited about your conference. I think that's amazing what you're doing. That is such a cool idea.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And that was Eva Baker from TeensGotCents. Check her out at TeensGotCents.com. And you can also find out more information about the conference that she is doing very soon next month at theteenpreneur.com. And don't forget to check the show notes out at jessicamoros.com/108. I'm going to put a lot more information about Eva, her website, TeensGotCents, some of the things that she's been working on, projects, and of course, the conference that's happening next month. So go to jessicamoros.com/108. And another reason you're going to want to check out the show notes is I'm going to put more information about the webinar I will be holding May 31st with Jacqueline Phillips, my friend, my pal, and my business partner, who is making the Rich and Fit Bootcamp a reality very shortly. So you'll definitely want to, check out the show notes so you can find more information about the course that we're doing, the webinar that we're going to be hosting very soon. And so you can register for the webinar. And the reason you want to check out the webinar, we're going to be giving out a lot of information about fitness and finance to help you in your day-to-day to really transform your life. We're going to give a little bit more info about the course that we will be launching very soon. And also, we're giving away 3 scholarships for people who attend live. So if you are a live webinar attendee, you will be automatically put into a draw to win a free scholarship to our course, which you'll want to do because it's freaking awesome. So just a little bit more info about the course. So it will be starting promptly on June 11th. We will be opening the doors to register, to buy your admission, to enroll right after the webinar. Another reason you'll want to join us. So May 31st is definitely a very important date you want to put in your calendar because we're only, allowing registration for a week. We're going to be shutting it down June 7th. So not a lot of time to register. So we definitely want to get as many people to join us as possible, but we also want to close it so we can start the course over the summer, so we can start helping people and changing people's lives and getting rich and fit. Okay, so that is enough for me. Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to see you back here next Wednesday for another episode. I thought I would be, only a couple weeks and then I'd be wrapping up the season, but I've actually recorded more episodes than I anticipated. I just had a lot of guests and I couldn't say no because, hey, they're great interviews. So I'm actually going to be wrapping up this season of the podcast around the end of June, actually. So lots more episodes to look forward to, but especially next Wednesday. So I'll see you back here next Wednesday.